like, who the heck wants to do roofing? This is terrible work. We want to hire technicians that know what they're doing. And so what we've done is we spent time and money and effort to go back to replace something that is because it was on the customer's mind and they didn't feel secure about it. So we had replaced it.
Hey, welcome back to our channel. I hope you've enjoyed the frequently asked questions for roofers, and you might have more questions, but I wanted to take some time to do a series I like to call The Why Under the Roof. This is a 2-part series, so make sure you subscribe and get notified when the next one comes out. Many people know what Above Roofing does. We put roofs on and we repair roofs. But why do we do it? In this series, I get to talk to our founder and owner, Robert Freeman. I join him on a walk and we go in to discuss these things. And I want to bring you along with me. And so with that, let's head on over to the discussion.
So you started this company in 1996?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what I had to think back and like, when did I start? It was, further back. So it's probably 96. At a certain point, we have to choose like, okay, 96. Yeah, because it didn't start off like, here's our start. I mean, it started out as like Freeman's Home Repair. And is it getting the light that it's going through a red light? Did it get that? And then, so anyway, it started off as a repair, repair. I'm like, and then eventually someone said, hey, do you do roofing? I'm like, yeah. And it wasn't the best job ever. As a matter of fact, it was probably a poor job.
Your roofing job?
Yeah.
First roofing job?
First roofing job was, they got what they paid for because I did not charge the right amount either. So they probably, what was paid was probably what they got.
Yeah.
So even then I did it by myself. I was reading the back of the bundle of the shingles about how to install.
Well, they put them there for a reason. I've heard people, that's how they learned. Like, that's where they started.
I grew up poor. And even when I was a younger married man, there's things I had to do. And out of necessity, you have to figure it out. We didn't have YouTube back then. There was the books. You would get these books of how-to books, and that was quite valuable. But that's actually how I got into like doing repairs. It's like, so I would do these repairs. Yeah, until that one day someone says, you do roofing. Well, all right, there's more to it than that.
Yeah, cool.
I did the roofing and I'm like, who the heck wants to do roofing? This is terrible work. And the roof wasn't done yet and it rained inside, and then now there's this drywall repair. It was terrible. It was really bad. And then I can't but think like, man, I'm not gonna get into roofing. This is terrible. Who wants to do this? What a lot of stress. I'm risking, life and limb. And then apparently I did get enough to where someone down the road said, hey, would you do mine? And I was stupid enough to say, yeah, I'll do it. I thought I was charging enough. I was not even charging wages. Again, didn't know what I was doing roofing-wise. I didn't know what I was doing business-wise. I just had a little bit of fire. And there was a part of me that felt like, I felt good about protecting. Even though maybe I didn't do this well in the first couple, I felt like this feeling of my why was to protect. And what a great way of protecting things is a place where they can work, where they live, where they worship. And there's something fulfilling about that.
Some people don't know like what's right or what's not right when it comes to like construction or like working on their own home. And then what makes it harder is the roof is out of sight. And so you can do something and then like on the roof, but you're like, oh, the homeowner won't see this. There's like a temptation of like, oh, just caulk it and walk away.
I'm not the best for communication, although that is one of our uniquenesses.
Yeah.
And so, but systems help out. Hiring the right people that help out. And so it is a challenge for me, although I do try to do it. But really what I'd like to talk about is the integrity, because integrity, you can consider that two different things. You got the integrity of the person and, are they a person of their word? Are they trustworthy? And so you have that integrity. But then you have the integrity as it deals with competence. Do they have the right skill set? Because you can have someone that's very meaningful and they want to have the intentions of doing well, and that's very trustworthy, but do you trust them, or do they have integrity as it deals with the right competence? And you need both of those. Then as you grow, integrity can also be thought of as the integrity of a system, or like how someone might say the integrity of a ship. Is it buoyant? Is it going to hold the pressure? Is it going to support the people? And so they grow in importance, because the bigger you are, the more important integrity needs to be there as it deals with systems, hiring the right people. And yeah, so the integrity is quite huge.
Yeah. What does that look like from a homeowner's perspective? Not just saying we're integrous, but like them, what are the actions and the things they would feel that Above Roofing would provide when it comes to integrity?
Yeah. That's a good one. So if I put into my customer's shoes, looking for a roofer and hiring someone, they don't do this every other day. And so this is new to them. And usually I think the best they can do is like, well, when they hire an electrician or a plumber, if they ever had to do that, they might, consider that. But if someone messes up on a roof, it costs more than how much the roof costs. Now could be mold, insulation, drywall, the disruption of the house. And really, so I think what I want to speak to is like when the customer is choosing someone, trust is key. So how does one go about choosing? How do they go about choosing? You got to look at the contractor. Don't make choices on the spot. Think about it, do your homework, look up Google reviews. If you're being pushed to saying something that time, that day, hey, we'll get this discount, that should be a yellow flag. And you should feel comfortable with who you're hiring. Do your homework, buyer beware. That's huge. I think also what you should know is like Above Roofing, we're not going to be your least expensive contractor. We want to hire technicians that know what they're doing. We've got systems and managers and supervisors in place for accountability, which is part of integrity, I think, is the accountability of doing things right. Yeah, check with the Better Business Bureau. Yeah, go with someone who you could tell cares. I would say you want the heart, you want someone who has the right heart to do you well, and then the right skill set to know how to do it. And usually that just might mean spending a little extra money to get the right person. Yeah. Getting the wrong person is expensive.
But do you have a story of a time where you provided a service, or Above Roofing provided a service, or went the extra mile? They proved their integrity to a customer.
Awesome people, but might not be as reasonable. And believe it or not, we don't necessarily take on every job. Just because you have money doesn't mean we want to work with you if you have a roofing project. But these people I'm thinking about, I care about them. This is our third roof doing for them. It's not the same house, that sounds, but they would move and like, hey, we got this great roofer, we're going to use them. But they're slightly unreasonable. And I don't know why or where. I think they might have been taken advantage of at one point. We're under contract, which is a legal obligation, but even more than that, we're under commitment with our word, and that's more important to me. But what we've done is something was talked about with the salesperson, but it wasn't put on the contract. And so when we did, the roof was awesome. It passed with flying colors, but it was mentioned like, hey, this board wasn't replaced. Well, when we were doing the project, the board wasn't rotted and it had structural integrity. And so what we've done is we spent, I don't want to say how much, but time and money and effort to go back to replace something that didn't really need it, but is because it was on the customer's mind and they didn't feel secure about it. So we had replaced it. And yeah, it sounds like something little, but to touch a brand new roof and replace something that didn't need it just because of an emotional need, I suppose we're willing to do that.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this series of the Why Under the Roof. Make sure that you hit subscribe, and over here there's some videos that are best for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them down below. And if I can't answer them, I'll find somebody above who can. Thanks for watching, guys.